Right, Niddah Perek Vav, Mishnah Yud Aleph, 11th Mishnah of the 6th chapter of Masechet Niddah. We'll go back to, we're off the tangent, we're back to Masechet Niddah, essentially. It says in Mishnah, Tinoket she'ivia shtei sarot. Tinoket is a female, a young female, a girl, that she'ivia shtei sarot, that she demonstrated she exhibits 2 pubic hairs. Then she's an adult. O choletzet o mityabemet. She can either do chalitza or if her husband dies, meaning she was married off when she was young, I guess, and and her husband dies without any children, she can do the chalitza, or mitya bemet, or she can she can have yibum with his brother. He can do chalitza to her, or he can be miyabim her. Meaning she's an adult. V'chayevet b'chol mitzvot ha'amurot b'Torah, and she's chayev in all the mitzvot in the Torah. Says the Mishnah, v'chein tinok. Similarly, a tinok, a young boy. He demonstrated he has 2 pubic hairs. Chayav, he's an adult. That's the age of majority. He's reached the age of majority based on his physical attributes. Chayav b'chol mitzvot ha'amurot b'Torah. He is chayav in all the mitzvot in the Torah. He's now an adult. So now, first of all, so what's really important to do is first of all understand that the Mishnah, the pshat in the Mishnah, is that in the Mishnah it's hevia shtei sarot. It's physical attributes. Okay, same thing true of a male. Hevi shtei sarot. Now, if we look at the Bartenura paints an entirely different picture based on the Gemara. The Bartenura says, "Tinoka shevi shtei sarot le'achar shtei shana v'yom echad." Once she's 12 years and 1 day old. And the same thing is true for a boy. A boy le'achar shlosha shana v'yom echad, after 13 years and 1 day old. And so it's really interesting that if you read the Mishnah, you have no inkling of this whatsoever. Now there's a Masorah, and the Gemara interprets it, the Gemara translates and explains. But what I think you're seeing here also is that in the Mishnah, they clearly only follow the Mishnah. The language of the Mishnah is clearly only following shtei sarot, physical attributes. And later on, the Gemara comes along and says we can't start having it be totally subjective. Rather, we need an objective time frame. And so they said girls 12. Boys 13, and it was always kind of flexible. That's the general age, but the Gemara established, and that's what we pass on. Like we say, the psak halacha is when a boy is 13 years old, we don't decide go check. We assume he has a chazak of shtei sarot unless we know otherwise. And same thing for a girl when she's 12 years old. But it's just important to understand, to see the language of the Mishnah and how the interpretation or the commentaries and the Gemara sort of I wouldn't say modified it, but interpreted it in such a way as to mean something different than the pshat of the Mishnah. And this boy, who's 13, he is a candidate to be the rebellious son, from when he exhibits these 2 hairs, ad shiakif hazakan. Yakif zakan means till he develops a beard, but here the beard does not mean a beard like, a beard of the face, rather, hatachton v'lo elyon. It means he grew, the pubic hair grew in such a way until it rounded out, Yakiv Zakan, until he developed the pubic hair in a serious way in his genital area. And that's tachton, the lower area of below elyon, not the upper beard, not the facial beard. So why did it say Zakan? Because the sages, they spoke in Lashon Nekiya, in a clean language. Everyone understands Zakan tachton, the lower beard, what that refers to. And Chazal, and I think this is something that we should try to model, spoke in such a way, in an antiseptic way, to explain what they were talking about. You're dealing with anatomic issues here, but they did it in a clean language, in a very antiseptic language. Says the Mishnah, if a young girl, once she demonstrated she has these 2 hairs, she can no longer, mi'un means, if she was married off, normally a father can marry off his daughter, and that's the kiddushin d'oraita. But if the father's not around, her brother and her mother can marry her off to a suitor because they can't afford her, they can't pay to feed her, etc., etc. And when she becomes, and that's kiddushin d'rabbanan, and when she becomes of adult age, she's candidate for mi'un. Mi'un means she can say, I don't like that guy, I don't want to be married to him, and she's gone. No get, no nothing. That's mi'un. But she can only be mima'enet until she reaches adulthood. Once she's an adult, then she no longer can't be mima'enet. And that's why Shevia Shtei Sarot, once she demonstrated these 2 Shtei Sarot pubic hair, she's majority age, she cannot be mima'enet. No, she's now an adult, she's now married to this guy, and if she wasn't mima'enet until now, she can no longer get out of the marriage, at least not without a get. Rabbi Yehuda says, until the black increases, i.e. the same idea, until she physically develops not just 2 hairs, but until it's a striking level or age of physical maturity. We'll stop here. Dedicate our learning to memory of my father. Ben Yitzchak Kalman. Make it a great day.